Okay, let's just dive right in. We're going to drop you into a scene that was uh, meticulously designed to look like a terrible accident, a random act of fate.
We're near the Assiut railway station. It's about 6 a.m. That cold, early morning light is just starting to break, and that's when local residents find it. A body on the tracks.
And it's a horrific scene. I mean, you can just imagine
Yeah.
the visceral horror. The body is severely mutilated, torn into many pieces.
The immediate assumption, of course, is that a person was hit by a train. It has all the hallmarks of a rail fatality. A really grim but, seemingly open and shut case.
Except it wasn't.
Not at all. The moment the specialized security teams and the forensic lab arrive on site, they see something different. They don't just see a victim, they see a construction.
And this is really the first major turning point, right? Because what looks like a horrible accident to a civilian immediately seems off
Yeah,
to an expert.
almost immediately. The
Yeah.
assumption just fell apart under the first bit of scrutiny.
So what did they see? What
Yeah.
specifically made them stop and say, wait a minute, this isn't right? Because to Mel, a body hit by a train is the definition of chaos.
And that's exactly why they were suspicious. When a fast-moving train hits something, it's pure physics. High speed, high energy. Things are thrown, scattered, dragged. It's an explosion.
Huge debris field.
A huge, unpredictable debris field.
Yeah.
But that's not what they found here.
It was the opposite.
It was the complete opposite. The forensic team noted two huge red flags right away. First was the distribution of the remains.
Okay.
Instead of being chaotically scattered, the body parts were, well, the report called it a methodical or organized manner. It was just too neat.
That's an incredible detail. It's less like an impact and more like someone placed the pieces.
Precisely. And the second red flag was related to that. There was no debris field. If a train hits a body at speed, material is going to be found yards away, in the brush, everywhere.
But there was nothing.
Nothing. Which strongly suggested the victim was placed there after death, not hit by a train in motion.
And I imagine they immediately started checking the trains themselves.
Of course. Security reviewed every train that passed in that time window. Witnesses saw nothing. But the real proof was, well, it was microscopic. The forensic teams went over the wheels, the undercarriage of the trains, clean. No residue, no blood, no tissue, no signs that they had run over anything substantial at all.
So the body is destroyed, but the trains are clean? The question becomes, how is that possible?
And the autopsy report provided the definitive, chilling answer. It didn't just contradict the accident theory, it blew it out of the water.
Okay, what were the findings?
First, toxicology. The body contained traces of a narcotic, a drug. He'd been sedated.
Wow. So incapacitated first. This was planned.
Deeply planned. But that's not what killed him. The cause of death was clear, massive, blunt force trauma to the head.
From a weapon.
A large wooden club or stick, according to the report. He was beaten to death.
And the dismemberment.
That was the final piece. The report confirmed it wasn't from the crushing force of a train. It was done with a sharp tool, specifically a knife.
Unbelievable. So the whole thing was a performance.
A complete fabrication. He was drugged, murdered somewhere else, dismembered, and then meticulously staged on the tracks.
But they had a huge problem. The killer or killers had
Yeah.
been very careful. They had a victim with no ID, no documents, no wallet, nothing.
Right. So the investigation shifts from what happened to who is he? And for days they had nothing, just circulating descriptions waiting for a break.
And that break comes on day 4.
It does. A missing person report gets filed by an elderly father. The only issue is it's from a village a pretty significant distance away from the crime scene.
But the details line up.
They do. The victim is identified as Salah. He's 27, a skilled worker who traveled a lot for his job.
And his father, when he's interviewed, he says Salah had no enemies, that he was well-liked.
Yeah, that's what he claims. Said he left for a job in the village 5 days earlier. Just a totally normal guy with no connection to this kind of horror.
But the police know a crime this personal, this staged, isn't random. They have to find the connection.
And they find it where they so often do these days, in the digital trail. They get his mobile phone records.
Okay, let's unpack this.
They track the phone's activity until it goes dead. And the very last number he called belonged to a woman, a 24-year-old named Omneya.
And where does she live?
She's from Salah's village. But she had married a man named Essam, an electrician, a couple of years prior.
And here's the kicker, I'm guessing.
Here's the kicker. After they got married, Omneya and Essam moved. And their new home was, and I quote, very close to the exact spot on the railway tracks where Salah's body was found.
Wow. That one phone call just connects everything. The victim from his home village to the perpetrators living right next to the dump site.
It does. But when police go back to Salah's father with this information, he gets hesitant. He claims he doesn't know anything about an Omneya.
So they're hiding something.
The family is hiding something. Investigators knew they had to dig into Salah's social circle, talk to his friends.
And that's when the real story comes out.
It does. The friends confirm it. Salah and Omneya had been in an illicit relationship before she got married. He was apparently deeply in love, wanted to marry her, but he just wasn't financially ready.
So she marries Essam instead and cuts off all contact.
Yes. But this is where it turns. Well, it turns from romance to blackmail.
How so?
During their relationship, Salah had secretly taken photos and videos of Omneya, compromising ones. He told her they were just for memories.
But when she left him, those memories became weapons.
Exactly. He felt betrayed. So he started threatening her, demanding they continue the relationship, or he would send the photos to her husband, her family, the entire village.
Oh, that is a terrifying situation to be in.
Especially when you find out who her husband is. The police run a background check on Essam, the electrician, and it turns out he has a serious criminal history.
What kind of history?
Convictions for armed robbery.
Okay, so she's not just worried about social ruin. She's terrified of the wrath of a violent criminal. Her own husband.
So police move fast. They go to Omneya's house near the tracks. The report says she showed extreme signs of anxiety the moment she saw them, and her husband, Essam, was conveniently not there.
They confront her.
They confront her with Salah's photo, with the phone records, and she knows the game is up. She breaks down and confesses everything.
She told Essam about the blackmail.
She told him everything, and his decision was immediate and brutal. They had to murder Salah.
And get the phone. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Eliminate the threat and destroy the evidence.
Right. So now we can walk through that night, the 5-hour window where this whole horrifying plan unfolds.
It starts with the lure.
It does. Omneya calls Salah. She tells him to come to the house as her husband Essam is away traveling, setting the trap.
Then the preparation. They prepare a sedative. They're going to drug his drink. Essam is hiding inside the house, armed.
Their plan is probably to just knock him out quietly and take the phone. But it goes wrong. This is around 11 p.m. Salah arrives. He drinks the tea with the drug in it. But it's not strong enough. It doesn't fully incapacitate him.
And Essam has to act.
Essam has to come out of hiding. He has that large wooden club, and he strikes Salah on the head, killing him instantly. Now, it's not a simple robbery. It's a murder they have to cover up.
And the cover-up becomes the staging.
Exactly. With Salah dead, Essam starts to dismember the body with a knife. And this is where that chilling detail comes in.
His morbid inspiration.
Yes.
Yes.
Having lived by those tracks his entire life, he knew exactly what a train accident looked like. He had seen the aftermath before he was trying to replicate it.
That is a level of cold calculation that is just hard to comprehend. He's using a knife to mimic the force of a locomotive.
He is. And they work until 4 a.m. They put the remains in plastic bags, take them out to the tracks, and carefully arrange them in that methodical way that the forensics team noticed.
Your biggest mistake.
Their biggest mistake. And then the final step, evidence disposal. They take all of Salah's ID, then they take the phone, the whole reason for the murder. They break it, and then they burn it.
They thought they had erased every single trace.
Every trace. But the phone records already existed. And Essam was arrested shortly after he got home. He denied it all, of course.
Until he was confronted with Omneya's full confession.
At which point, he had nowhere to go. The entire desperate plot just unraveled.
And the final verdict for both of them was the death sentence.
It was. It's just a stunning case. The whole scheme was undone because, in their effort to perfectly replicate chaos, they made the scene too orderly.
So when we look at this, what does it all mean? This was a sophisticated plan. Drugs, murder, staging, destroying evidence. It worked perfectly for 5 hours.
But it fell apart because of two things. That organized placement and that single forgotten phone call that placed the victim right at their new front door.
It really highlights how the most careful plans can be undone by the simplest of oversights.
Absolutely. The electronic trail, or in this case, the physical trail, they tried so hard to disguise.
So it leaves me with this one question. What if they hadn't been so elaborate? What if they had just taken the body, dumped it in a river miles away, and burned the phone?
Would the police ever have connected an anonymous body found so far away to this specific couple?
Exactly. The sheer audacity of trying to stage an accident was, in the end, their downfall. The thing they thought was so clever was actually the strongest proof that it was a murder.
The attempt to create chaos was the most orderly clue they could have left.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.